Oh yeah, that's right. Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time for another delightful tarot show. Got my Book of Thoth Tarot at the ready. Obviously the year's warming up. We've had the Candlemas Festival. We're moving on to the spring equinox slowly but surely. We've got Lent coming up. We've also got Pancake Day, No Shrove Tuesday. Plenty of fun things for people to celebrate and to enjoy. If you've got any reading requests, please do send them through to me, and you will be added to the rota, okay? I can't answer all the questions. If you send me like War and Peace, basically, I'm not going to go through it all, because I don't actually read the readings prior to getting on the camera. I get on the camera, start the video, go to the computer, read through the request, and then come back and answer it. So short, succinct, bit of basic background, your first name, your date of birth, and of course your question, and I'll see what I can do for you there, okay? So that's the way I like it. Just a very quick message for you, okay? If you want to try and get to the top of the pile, you can't. I've had some people trying to send me videos through with a message saying, please do me a reading now. I don't work that way. There's only one way you can send me a request, and that's through private message on this YouTube channel, which is Nick Dutch Tarot, and then I can get back to you, and then through the reading itself, actually in the video. And that's basically the way I'm working at the moment. So I hope you're not feeling put off by that, but I want to keep a certain quantity of structure and discipline to this, so I know who I've done readings for and who I haven't done readings for, okay? Don't want to have to count someone twice. I don't want to have to, answer the same question twice. I may have done that in some videos, but it just makes it less likely that that's going to happen if we do it this way, and that way everyone gets a fair share. Remember, you must ask me a question, okay? If you don't ask me a question, I'm probably not going to answer it. You might want to have a general reading. General readings can be quite long by their very nature, and so it is better if you actually want to get a bit of clarity about a situation, to tell me what the situation is, ask me a question, and then boom, I can get straight on and get it done, okay? Just wants to clear that point up. These days this channel is getting more popular. There's more inquiries coming in, more people just sort of like sending me private messages which are unrelated to the tarot show. You can always go back to my other channel and have a chat with me on that if there's something else you want to discuss. But right here, right now, one job, one deck of cards, one reader, one camera. Let's get straight on with the first one. Okay, September Witch wants me to have a quick look and see basically what's coming in for her in the year of 2011. So I'll do a short chronological spread, quite simply 6 cards in order. We'll see what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods, energies and all the rest of that are going to appear for you. I don't prime the readings, I shuffle like mad, whilst I'm sitting here. So basically what you're getting is the same kind of thing you could be getting if you were having a telephone tarot reading with me, or an email tarot reading for instance, that kind of thing. Right. Keep focused, keep discipline. There's going to be lots of distractions around you, lots of little things happening trying to take you away from the primary focuses of your life, which I think you might find a bit difficult. First message, first 2 months of the year. More responsibility coming on your shoulders. The Lover's card talks more about responsibility and a sense of a new life. So there is an optimistic message about that, but it can also be speaking about more in the way of hard work being done. And that can actually be quite difficult at times to try and keep your life nice and balanced when essentially you've got more responsibility coming your way. Progress on from that point, between 2 and 4 months down the line from now, a bit of a sense of a struggle, which is continuing on up to about midsummer time, with plenty of hard work being done. Maybe a bit of a crisis during that particular time frame. I still don't see it as being all that serious, otherwise you wouldn't be pulling yourself out and doing the hard work to try and remedy a difficult situation. But on the other hand, the Three of Coins is also a financial sign, and it's talking about hard work to try and get some end results, maybe to do with your career, maybe to do with a change in your career, which is actually going to be very, very good. But the possible signs relating to the new beginnings here could be talking about starting something new, which is then going to build up to a time whereby you can really let things fly come the summer, maybe June, July, August time, okay? The autumn and winter of the year. I feel you're settling down then and focusing more on the home side of things and on the personal life side of things. So it seems rather functional, rather mundane during the short-term future, jobs, career, work, finance, keeping everything on track, making sure you don't get too distracted and you carry on basically doing what you have to do. It's all about responsibility, it's all about discipline during the first half of the year. Second half of the year, that's where more in the way of loving signs are coming through, being pointed out by the Knight of Cups, a very powerful significator which is dealing with loving energy, and also a sign of peace and tranquility. So it looks like you're able to reach that sort of level of equilibrium later on, whereby you can put in enough work to keep yourself on track and not too much to basically take you off track and make things a bit difficult. So the feeling of progress is definitely there in quite a big way. That's roughly what's coming for you this particular year. I don't really see any tragedies. I don't tend to focus in too much on the negative there, although I did mention there was some negatives there within the first half of the year. But on the other hand, you do seem to be working to overcome them, so essentially I'm not too worried. You seem to be quite an intelligent, skilled individual, and you're probably more than capable of sorting out problems yourself. Laura Ferrante is a young individual who's thinking about their future, their career. Let's have a quick look, do a short career spread for you, and see what kind of things is coming through. Okay, the first message there is follow your heart. When I say that, not just something that you really, really want to do, but the heart is part of your body, it's part of your being. So you've got to bear in mind what you're already designed to do, where your skills really lie, and also something that you feel you could actually enjoy or get passionate about. Really get excited and really get riled up, so that you can be dedicated to developing the career in a manner which will basically suit you and suit you down to the ground. So the feelings there are actually really rather interesting. Great sense of further studies, but not further studies just yet. We don't have those academic signs in the very short-term future. The sign of the universe, it's more talking about completion and wholeness and being an individual who is complete and who is whole and has gained everything that they need, followed by further change. I would say you got a short break with a bit of work coming your way, not necessarily the most serious work in the whole wide world, but it's definitely going to give you a bit of a foundation of knowledge and wisdom and understanding about what real life is about in the workplace, okay? Following on from that, the sense there is that of change, transformation and improvement. You're moving up in the world, but you're moving up in the world through various incremental stages. So don't expect there to be a dramatic movement towards success and achievement within the first 12 months, because I don't think that's going to happen. But the first 12 months is where you've laid down your foundation and you're going to do well after that. There were some good financial signs there, so essentially realistically I wouldn't worry. Just as an afterthought, I've got the moon card there for you. That does talk about your dreams, your aspirations, and where you want to go in life. And there's also a bit of a successful message there to do with things that you've been dreaming about, wanting or lusting after, which would probably be able to help you in some manner in the future. So don't throw your dreams away, but realize that you still need to temper them with a bit of reason and sort of discipline, I suppose. But the feeling I'm getting is also very good and very positive. Okay, Pet Sirius is inquiring about Paul. Now, Pet Sirius is confused and wants to make sure that Paul is her twin flame or soulmate. Now, I'm sure I've said this before, the word soulmate does not refer to an individual who is predestined to be your relationship partner. I personally don't believe that there is a connection to a previous life. I don't personally believe there is some kind of fate or karmic connection. I think that is the wrong interpretation. The word soulmate refers to the early stage of a relationship prior to moving on to what I would consider to be the life partner connection, which is held together by responsibility, discipline and dedication. So you mustn't let the fact that you feel love for someone to basically stop yourself thinking, basically. Feeling in love with someone is not proof you've got a relationship. But anyway, let's have a quick look and see what the reading says about your connection with that individual. Okay, standard 8 card relationship. I've shuffled like crazy, so we're going to get hopefully different signs coming out. I know sometimes I do my shuffling, I do my reading, and I do get some, the same cards coming out twice in a row, which is rather weird. But on the other hand, there's always a reason for that. Forces between the two of you, basically 6 of coins. Signs relating to success, a feeling of being in the right place at the right time. It's also an earth sign. It deals with stability, but there's also a romantic inclination associated with it. It feels as though you've got a successful bond, but on what particular level is that bond and how can you actually make that improve? Those are the questions you've got to ask yourself. On your side of things, well, there's very good signs there. Signs of discipline and determination to try and achieve something of a good nature, and signs of wanting to be in control. You also want to avoid failure, so I feel there's some caution with the way in which you're approaching this particular relationship, which is, of course, good. But I think you need to bring it onto the level of actually talking in great detail, in a manner which is not laden with fear that you may upset someone. Okay, obviously you don't want to blurt out something too intensely passionate and difficult, but if you can actually start to learn how to be able to discuss things objectively, that can always help. Now on his side of the reading, I think you're in luck there. Very strong love signs anyway. and a bit of a message of an individual who wants to try and create something victorious and healthy associated with the connection between you and them. So I feel very interested about how this is going to develop. I feel that you're going to start to feel less anxious with the passage of time, and he's going to start to put in basically a bit more in the way of effort. So essentially that feels good, and again, it looks very good. Progress during the short-term future. Why have we got signs of caution in your short term? Why are those there? Are you feeling cautious? Are you afraid to rock the boat? Are you afraid to create a problem, considering your connection with him and where you want to go in the future? More signs relating to transformation and healing with that Delightful One card there, often labelled as swiftness. And also forgiveness. So a time whereby the information could flow more freely appears to be coming around the corner. Watch out for the long-term future, because you just got to keep the effort going there. If you stop the effort, then essentially the relationship will probably stop, and that goes for both of you, including you. So bear that in mind as well. Okay. On with the next one. Okay, Hammy Annabella is inquiring as to whether she should stay with her boyfriend or leave him. It's interesting that you should use the word should when you're sending that message through to me. What does that tell me about where you're coming from? Okay, you're asking me to do the thinking for you. I refuse to do that. You will have to make up your mind whether you should be with him or whether you should not be with him. Alright, the word should is often an order. And in this particular case, you're asking me to take complete control over the situation, and I'm not going to do that for you, because that's not my job, that's your job. You've got to ask yourself, how happy are you in the relationship? You've got to ask yourself, are your needs being met as well as his? You've got to ask yourself, how do you actually feel about this situation? And taking into account what you know about him in accordance with what he says and what he does, whether that's an individual you wish to be with in the future. Alright, these are important questions to be answered, and to be answered by you. You should be the one to say whether you should stay or whether you should go, not me. But I'll have a look and see what the reading says anyway, so never mind. Okay, well, it's difficult. Signs on his side of things, I think he definitely thinks a bit too much, which could be a bit difficult. And he's also got some kind of negative emotion, maybe defensiveness, maybe depression about him. Bond between you and him, it's kept in place by some sort of friendly allegiance or agreement or mutual agreement. Not quite a loving connection at this particular point in time or stage. Signs on your side of things. Signs of you being a stable individual, but there's some sadness there. Maybe that sadness has been caused by him, or maybe it's something a little deeper. So I think you need to do a bit of analysis on yourself as to whether you're in the right place to be able to make sure that this could happen, whether you were in the right place when this relationship started, and whether this relationship is actually what you wanted all along. Alright, these are questions you've got to ask yourself. According to the reading, he's a bit difficult. Okay, so I would be inclined to say that this could be the end. Progress in the future. Well, there is still signs of passion. There's still some signs of reconciliation midterm future, maybe a couple of months down the line from now. But there's also signs relating to conflict. There are some signs relating to victory as well, which can be quite nice. But on the other hand, you still need to think about what you feel comfortable with. Sometimes I tell my customers, look, screw what the reading says. Think about your life. Think about what's happened. Think about what he's said. Think about what he's done. And you make the decision, not the reading. The reading can say all kinds of things. Sometimes it can be useful. But you should use your time watching readings and listening to readings and having readings done to help you to be able to contemplate life in a different way. It shouldn't be there to sit there and say what you should or should not do. Got to get that straight in your head. And that goes for all of you out there. Okay, Airy Lucy just sent me a request. Just very quickly. Within your request, what you've said to me is that you watched the video for today and you weren't included. Okay, well, that shouldn't surprise you. I've got a backlog, okay? There's a whole stack of readings for me to go through. This is not readings on demand. If you want them on demand, you've got to get on the phone with me. And yes, that does cost money, but because I do this for a living, it's my full-time personal job. Okay? Now, you asked me where your life was heading or where your career was heading and whether you're stronger in or out of love. Well, everyone is stronger out of love, because essentially then you are the individual against the world. But also everyone is weaker out of love because you don't have anyone to support you. Let's have a quick look and see whether being with someone is more useful for you at the moment. Okay, well the feeling I'm getting is that, yeah, maybe developing a relationship could be good, but you got to select with great care. You do need to apply some caution when you're going through the decision-making process, and make sure that they're in agreement with yourself, okay? Make sure that balance is correct. So do select yourself a partner if you feel good about that at this time in your life. And I don't really see any total negatives. You're a very strong individual anyway. We have very strong earth signs associated with you, so I wouldn't worry at all. What I would do is, maybe today just take a pen and paper and write down all your personal strengths. Get to know yourself better. Get to know where you're coming from better and what you're really about better. And then from that point start making some decisions as to where you want to go. But you also asked me, where does your path lie? Well, we can just have a quick look and see. Just bear with me a second, please. Alright, although you're not a confrontational individual, there's something about your energy which suggests that you've got some kind of goals you want to bring into the public world or the public life somehow. That's why we got signs of conflict in terms of you being an aggressive individual. You've got causes, you've got things you want to support. One of the things you've got to do, which is probably separate to your career, is to act politically. And I think that you've got to start thinking about which causes you want to support. Alright, that's essentially the main message I've got there for you. Marius at 3 wants to find out whether there's a new connection coming their way. Let's have a quick look for you. Bear with me a second, please. Okay, progress is looking interesting. Immediate short-term future, no. And no signs of familiarity, signs of you feeling pretty bad about yourself, basically. But also those signs are reversed the way I'm looking at the reading, so essentially the feeling is that of getting over it as a result of having received some positive messages from something which is happening in your life pretty soon. Now, whether that is a relationship or not, or whether that's just someone pointing out to you that you're a damn sight better looking than you think you are, it's hard to say. The only real relationship signs we've got are closer to the spring and the summer. Okay, so we're talking about May to July. But it's definitely looking like that there is some love coming your way, and also a very good sense of being relatively carefree when it happens, and also of your energy being the energy which is very much in control in a passive but authoritative way, if you get my drift. And there's also a feeling that this is going to be a relationship when you finally get it later on down the line, which is something you're going to be able to tell other people about and actually feel quite proud of as well. So that's essentially where it's going to go for you. So I don't feel any real problems there as far as romantic connections are concerned. It looks like you can get some sorted out, probably a damn sight easier than you think you can. Okay, Purple Monster's in a relationship and wants to know whether they should, or whether it is right to, or whether the energy is right for them to pursue a relationship with this individual. So let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Remember, of course, you're the final decision maker, not me. I just do this for a living. This is an entertainment service, remember that. And so you can't use an entertainment service with the same degree of reliability as you would use, your online weather forecast. Okay? So let's have a quick look and see what's coming through anyway. Standard 8-card relationship reading. Signs of the forces in between the two of you. Yes, it can be a good, responsibility-driven and loving relationship. Signs on his side of things. There is love there. Signs on your side of things. There's also a desire for change. So what is it you want to change, okay? Because also on his side of the reading, there was a good sense of unity, a good sense of wanting to be together and trying to build things up. Cooperation, okay? So he actually wants to cooperate. Sometimes you don't recognize it. Maybe he's not very good at communicating himself. So you've got to think about that side of things as well. Progression, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Okay, this is the kind of thing that I would probably expected to see. These signs do concern me, because I think that misunderstanding and miscommunication between yourself and this other individual is what's causing the problem. So maybe you both already know what is the right thing to do, but you both find it very difficult to do it. 8 of Cups marked indolence, but it's also a love sign anyway, so essentially there is still a bond there, okay? The only signs of futility we got are involved with not being able to communicate to sufficient detail about where you're coming from and where your needs really are. Now, signs of defeat are reversed, suggesting there can be some good times coming, but you need to reappraise the direction of the relationship anyway. But I feel that yes, you can make it happen. Chris Bartley 88 is currently single and wants to see whether something new is going to come their way. Okay, Chronological reading. We've had an 8-card relationship reading. We've done a lot of chronological readings. We've done a couple of other little weird ones, but never mind. We'll go straight on with the chronological spread to see whether someone new is coming in for you, Chris. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Looking very good. Magician card coming through, midterm future. Okay, so very, 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 very outside, between 3 and 6 months down the line from now. But that is very, 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 very outside, so it could happen by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but somehow I doubt it. The feeling I'm getting is that it could well be a very good quality new beginning, in the sense of moving forward in the right kind of direction. Basically speaking, it does seem to be intellectually driven, possibly starting platonic, and moving on from there. But on top of that, there's a feeling of attraction as well, if you get my drift, you know what I mean, okay? Don't need to be too graphic. But, you know, the progress in the long term, plenty of signs of desire and connection, and it could well be a very long-term connection for you if you wish. The feeling I'm getting primarily and predominantly is that it's going to start platonic and build up from there. It might even be someone you already know, as we do have some signs of familiarity early on in the reading. Okay? Or someone you get to know first, and then you start building the relationship with them. That's the way it seems to me. A Shicker is doing some studying. Hello, A Shicker. Yes, you can request more than one reading, okay? That is allowed. But, you know, you still get them when I'm good and ready to do them. Alright, and you still have to have the same rules associated with giving me the questions, namely not too long, and actually giving me a question. Sending me a message saying, hi, how are you, is not something that I like on this channel. You can do that on my other channel, you can't do it on this channel, okay? Because this is not a social channel, this is a channel whereby I do tarot readings. Okay? Alright. Not just a message not for you, but for someone else who sent one of those silly messages. Anyway, you were inquiring about your studies. So essentially, for you to do well, I would say I'd have to see some academic signs. I'm predominantly looking out for stave signs, but sword signs will do kind of, but mainly stave signs because they're more intellectually driven sometimes. Ideally the Hermit and maybe the Emperor, that kind of energy associated with study, success and achievement, or indeed other cards associated with success and power and all the rest of it. Let's have a quick look and see what's coming through for you. Okay. It's more a question of undoing damage. As far as motivation is concerned, you definitely seem to have that. A great quantity of passion appears to be there. As far as perception and imagination, you definitely seem to have that as well. According to the reading, you've also got a desire to completely change the way in which your life is going to be run. Okay? All these things are talking about making sure you're in the right place at the right time for the longer term future. The skills you're learning in university are only part of the bigger picture somehow. Let's expand the reading a little further. You're a cautious individual sometimes, but within the world of your studies, I think you've got to be a bit braver with your answers. But also the Eight of Coins there is one which I do associate with results, so long as you lose your fear, because caution doesn't always happen because you want to be cautious. It can be because you're afraid of action. What else have we got there for you? Some nice stave signs talking about a feeling of academic success, a sense of joy and happiness coming later on down the line. All these are painting a picture of a great potential future. Now, as far as will you get the grades that you want, well, are you prepared to work hard enough to be able to get those grades? That's basically your answer. Okay? But I feel that you can. My reading is looking very positive. It's explaining in an allegorical manner you've got what it takes. But it's like you want to look after yourself. That's fine. But maybe it's a question of the number of hours that you're doing your studies for. You know, I remember when I did my degree, I'd frequently spend a couple of days or a couple of nights just awake, just cramming it all in and working really hard. Maybe that's something you need to do. I don't know. That's got to be your decision. Maybe you could discuss it with your tutors and see whether they can suggest a plan of study or whatever to try and get the right results. I think you're skilled enough to be able to make it, but I also feel you need more confidence to be able to make it as well. Chimp Angel has got some issues with her career. She's like a lab technician in a hospital and thinks she might be losing her job. Well, there's cutbacks everywhere these days, and it's very difficult to hang on to your job even if you're in a stable job. But everyone's got a few issues with the economy the way it is at the moment. I think the thing to do is to see what the reading says. I'm not coming out with total negativity here. There's more of a sense of transformation and change coming out with the lightning struck tower. But there's also a sense of pride and determination coming out, with a feeling that you are going to enjoy the next stage of your career. And why would we have some very good willpower signs leading you further forward? It's actually quite a positive set of energies associated with your future. It's not looking unpleasant or undesirable. There's no real sense of destruction, just transformation and change. Maybe you're moving up the ladder, not down it. Maybe you're not being fired. Maybe you're being promoted. Or maybe leaving this particular lab job is good because it will lead you on to something else. It's all about change, yeah, but it's all about change which you're going to be happy with in the longer term, and which is going to do you some good. So what's the problem here? Goliath 285 wants to see whether it is possible to get some acting work in the future, as in like an acting career. Hey, anything's possible. It's all quite desirable. Let's just have a quick look and see basically what's going to come through for you. I feel so. I do. I really feel so. Plenty of signs relating to joy. 2 characters on the Sun card, maybe representing the tragedy and the comedy. There's also a good feeling of, lighting, illumination, power, determination, dance. Maybe acting is not the only form of entertainment service provision you're going to be doing. Maybe it's a question of music and singing and philosophy and talking to people in different ways and expressing ideas in different ways as well. Have you considered melding all of your talents and learning more as you go along? We got, you're determined without the shadow of a doubt. The Knight of Wands has come out an awful lot today for some reason. I think there's something important about this time of year, maybe. What else we got coming through in the reading for you? Again, victory sign, 6 of Staves. Very good, very interesting. It's going to be a bit of strife and struggle before you're there, but essentially, yes, you could do it. You could actually become an actor. I don't really see a problem with that. I think you could make it. It's not there for you immediately. You've got about 3 to 4 years at the very outside before you can start doing it. It does appear to be there for you. And I think you're going to get quite well known from it. Okay, Blue Jimbo's got a problem with accommodation and moving, and wants to make sure that the move can actually happen okay. So moving from one state to another, obviously a big decision, lots of hard work got to be done there. She's got a son who could possibly help out, whether that's going to work out or not, difficult to say. Let's see what the reading says. Sign of satisfaction. Whatever's going to happen is going to be satisfactory. So it's not perfect, it's not quick, it's not easy, but it is satisfactory. But there's also happiness signs coming in. We've got the Knight of Cups and the Princess of Cups, a male and a female significator. Maybe one of them is yours and one of them belongs to your son. Maybe there is some form of help coming from him as well. And both of the same suit, maybe that means the same family. Maybe he is going to be able to help you out, or be able to find some way of helping you out that you hadn't yet thought about. And I think that's worth thinking about. Okay? Alright, well that's the last reading I'm doing for today. I've got about 3 or 4 in the backlog so far, and I'll be tackling those very shortly with the passage of time. As is traditional, rate, comment, subscribe, favourite and share. And if you like what you see here, you want to you want your question included in the next tarot show, or indeed one of the ones thereafter, send me a private message on this YouTube channel. Alright, rate, comment, subscribe, favourite and share. Leave your comments below, but no requests by any other means apart from by private message on this YouTube channel. I must get that through to you, okay? I'll bid you good fortune, God bless, be happy to speak to you again soon, doing a next tarot show. For those of you who don't know, okay, there are links on my channel page here on this YouTube channel for those of you who want to contact me by telephone, by email, or by SMS for a reading, and I'll be more than happy to help or to oblige you in that particular respect. Okay? What else was I going to tell you today? Yeah, what I'm thinking of doing, if I get round to it, is I'm going to put some HTML code in the YouTube subscription box or information box down below. And what you might be able to do if you run a website is to copy and paste a lot into your website, and then you'll get this tarot show being uploaded, coming through each and every single week when I do it on your website without you having to do anything. So if you'd like that, you'd like to have a regular Nick Dutch thing coming up, then you don't have to let me know. Just take the HTML and paste it all over the internet, and then that'll be good for everybody, okay? Alright. Speak to you in a while. God bless.